Hi, this is Melissa McMorrow.
Oh, hi,
Melissa.
Joining us now, of course, is the new WBO flyweight champion, Melissa McMorrow, fresh off her victory against Kenya Enriquez. A pleasure for you to join us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And, the pleasure is all of ours. You know, for those listening in, she fought this past weekend and is now, like I mentioned, the WBO champion. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your performance? What grade do you give your performance?
I give it a B. I mean, I thought I did well. You know, the game plan was to really pressure her a lot because she is a boxer and she's a lot longer than me. So I really need to press the action and get close to her. So I did that really well, and I think that's why, you know, I did as well as I did. But in my opinion, I felt like, you know, I could have been a little bit cleaner. You know, when I watched the fight, like, I just feel like it's, like, I don't know. I had to, like, really, like, kind of dirty it up in order to I think, pull out the win. But, you know, I guess that's what I plan to work on, is kind of cleaning it up a little bit more, making my punches a little bit more accurate, and I don't know. So for that reason, I'd give it a B.
All right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, you know, watching the fight, I was worried that, you know, you've gone to Mexico so many times before. You know, there was Argentina, you know, Jessica Chavez, and the worst one was Mariana Juarez. And all those fights, you know, you could have got denied, but the judges didn't go your way. So I'm watching the fight on Azteca America, and, you know, their, you know, TV broadcast team is supposed to be, you know, more fair than the actual judges. You know, they try to be impartial calling the fights. And even they had Enriquez ahead 96-94. So I know when you heard that 98-92 scorecard, you had to say, there's nowhere in the world they gave me the fight 8 rounds to 2.
Right.
So I know when you heard you won the fight, you were just immensely surprised.
Yeah, you know, when they first gave her, like, I didn't think it was that close. You know, I felt like she really didn't win a lot.
I scored the fight for you 98-92. Like, I actually agree with the score. I just said in Mexico, it's like, was she going to score a call like that? No way. It's like, it's impossible. So
yeah,
that had to be surprising.
I agree with you. When they first gave her the first one, I was like, oh, no, not this again, you know. But then once I got the second score and then they read the 98-92, I thought the same thing. My trainer actually started clapping and kind of celebrating, being like, there's no way they gave it to her 98-92. So I think you got the decision on this. So, yeah, I was definitely worried, of course, but more because I'd been robbed before than really because of I thought that I hadn't performed well.
Yeah, the 2 rounds I gave Enriquez were the first and the third. Then I thought you took over the fight after that. Like, I saw swing rounds, but I gave them to you.
Okay.
Overall, I thought, you know, she kind of was maybe not ready for the fight in a way, because she looked very skilled. Like, she boxed as good as you know, any of the other opponents I saw you, but she had problems keeping you off of her. Like, she was like kind of unsure of herself in a way, and you know, you did what you had to do, and I'm glad the judges finally, you know, saw your way.
I'm glad too.
Go ahead. Yeah, I agree with you that you could have been cleaner.
She's a good boxer too. I think she just was a little bit. She's less experienced than me, and I think that was the difference. You know, like, she just hasn't really fought a high quality of opponents, so I don't think she was quite ready for someone to press her all the time, or for someone to put her under the pressure that I did. You know, I think that, you know, maybe after a couple more fights and stuff, that she might have just a little bit more experience under her belt to kind of adapt a little bit better.
Yeah, you know, experience is confusing in women's boxing, because she was 12-0 and going into this fight, or 13-0, and you were 9-5-3. So, like, on paper, It looks like, you know, she has the edge, but, you know, the fights that you had compared to the fights that, you know, she had, just there's no comparison.
Yeah.
So, you know, where would you rank Enriquez, among, the opponents you fought, like, because since you fought so many, quality, flyweights over your career, I have to wonder, like, what's the pecking order for you? Who do you think is, the best top to bottom?
Well, so much of who I would think would be the hardest fighter has to do with style, so it's not always that I think someone's a better fighter than somebody else, but some are like harder for me than others just based on style, The thing with Enriquez is she's a pretty classic boxer. So for me, that's how everyone tries to fight me. So I'm very used to that. Everybody, when you ask anybody, oh, how would you beat Melissa, they say, I'm an outboxer. That's what everybody says. But I think it takes a certain, I think it takes a certain particular skill set in order to be able to do that. I mean, I think she does have decent power. I think, she moves well, but I didn't think that she was particularly tricky or anything I haven't seen before, So, but I think that she's very good. As far as where I think she ranks against other people I've fought, it's kind of hard to say, like, outright. I mean, I think that, like, if I had to compare her to, like, Mariana Juarez, I'd say Mariana has very good, I mean, she obviously has ring experience. Like, she does things like she can control her distance a little bit better. And she just, like, she knows when to grab you and when to, she has, like, a list of tricks Enriquez doesn't have.
Right, I know what you're saying.
So I'd say, like,
a
in
veteran
terms of
tactic.
boxing skill, I'd say that Mariana was probably above Enriquez. In terms of, like, I don't know, like, I'd have to say, like, there's just so many different angles to boxing that it's really hard to say. I mean, I thought that, like, Areli, like, gave me a really hard fight because we both have very similar, like, come-at-you styles. And so that, for me, that makes it a little bit more challenging for me because I don't get that a lot because it's usually me coming after somebody else, So I'd say, like, that has been, like, a pretty difficult fight, I thought, I don't know. I mean, Susie Kantikian is very, like, has, I would say, better boxing skills than Enriquez. She's very, very technically sound, So a lot of people going into the fight said to me, like, oh, Enriquez, she's very technical. And I think that, like, she thinks a lot, but she doesn't execute like Kantikian does. Like,
right.
Kantikian can think and execute very well, Like, there's not a lot of openings, whereas I felt like Enriquez, there's openings because the execution is not quite as solid as her thinking. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Probably overly analytical, but
that's good. You're now you're two-time WBO female flyweight champion, but it's not like you ever lost your title in the ring. So how was it that you lost it in the first place?
So when I beat Kantikian for the WBO title, a lot of times in contracts there's clauses in terms of contractual obligations with promoters, etc. And in the Kantikian contract, there was a rematch clause, but there was some sort of confusion with her promoter, and I don't know what was going on with her promotional representation at that time, but she ended up going to a different promoter, and her original promoter reached out to me and signed me to a contract. And it didn't include the rematch, actually. It was I think he was kind of hoping for the rematch, but Kantikian didn't really want the rematch. So he kind of held me under contract, I think kind of waiting for Kantikian to come around. So he put on two fights for me, one in Florida and one in Germany against Nadia Raoui. But then after the Rousey fight, like they kept saying, oh, we're gonna do a fight in a month, we're gonna do a fight in 2 months, and it just kept stringing on and on and on and on, and like fights never came, and so it was a year from that Kentucky, from the Rousey fight to when finally I decided, I've been getting offers for fights, and I was being like, we take this? Can we take this? Can you guys, if you guys want to hand in this, can we take this? Because I was getting offers, but I was contractually obligated to fight under them. And they kept saying like, oh no, we have plans for you. So I waited out for a whole year, and afterwards, that's when I ended up taking a fight with Mariana Juarez, because I just really didn't have any options there. Like I couldn't sit around forever. And as soon as I told the promoter, like, I'm not going to sit in this contract anymore, then the WBO took the belt away. They vacated. They said, well, you haven't defended the belt in the mandatory time frame, so it's now vacant. Maybe it's partly I do because I was fighting for the WBC belt against Mariana. I don't really know, but they vacated it. They took it away. So
I gotcha.
So then I don't know. Enriquez fought for it against somebody.
Yeah, but she fought for it after Jessica Bop, vacated it. She got the first vacant title shot, but then she got pregnant. So when she comes back, assuming she maybe wants to get the belt back or whatever, is that somebody you're interested in fighting?
Yeah, I'd love to fight her. I've always looked up to her. I think she moves really well. So, I'd love to fight her. I don't know if she plans on really staying at 112, because she used to fight at 108. But, I would love it if we did have a fight. I think it'd be a great fight. I've met some of her people before at random gyms and things, and they kept saying, oh, we should set up a fight. But I think that was kind of like maybe right when she was getting pregnant. So, I don't know. I'd love to do it if there was an opportunity.
Yeah, I guess you will be traveling to Argentina instead of Mexico this time. It might be a nice experience.
Yeah, I don't think it works, because my family's from Brazil, and there's this, ongoing rivalry between Argentina and Brazil. So it'd be, I think, really contentious.
So, what's been up, outside of the ring for you ever since you won?
Ever since I won the title?
Yeah,
or just
how have you been enjoying yourself?
It's been good. I guess it hasn't been that many changes in my life. I have a job. I work full time, so I've been going to work and just kind of chilling, hanging out with people. After fights, I always take time to hang out with my friends and stuff because I'm working hard usually before fights, so I have a lot less time. So. I've just been kind of enjoying it, hanging out. I have a sister that lives in Africa, and she's coming this week, so I'm really excited about that. To spend some time with family, and I think it'll be cool. It's been fun, too. People at work have been really excited about it, so it's been cool, too.
Now that you have retained your title, obviously when you're a titleist, all the eyes shift towards you. There's another person in your division, Ava Knight. Is this a matchup that you're interested in pursuing in the near future? I know sometimes there's some difficulty with coordinating women's fights on the American side of the table. Mexico far outpaces us and does that much more successfully in terms of putting these cards on. But is that something you're looking to work toward in the near future?
Yeah, it's something I've wanted that fight for a while. I get frustrated because, after Ava fights, she never, people ask, who do you want to fight next? She never mentions my name, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm right here. We're like, let's do it. I've been wanting that fight for a while. But so far, I don't know what the issues have been. It's kind of, I'm excited that potentially I could get something started with, a promoter with Zanfer Promotions. We're looking into that, and so hopefully that they'll be able to help us put on a show that, we both would be willing to fight on. I don't know. I'd love the fight. In the flyweight weight class, there's a very like I'm kind of running out of people in the top tier here. I fought most
Right.
of them already. You know, I would love to fight Aurelia again. I would really like to crack at the WBC title, and and I'd like to fight Ava. You know, I feel like they're the two big ones left, and then Jessica Bob if she comes back. You know, so yeah, I mean it's a fight that I would love to get, and I think it'd be a really good fight because we come from the same hometown ish, sort of. I mean, she's like maybe 3 hours away from me.
California's a big place.
And so, I mean, not the same hometown, but close by. And, you know, I think it'd be a good clash of styles. You know, she's a boxer. She's like kind of a boxer and more of a brawler type fighter. So I think it would be like a really entertaining fight.
Now that we've seen that the developments of what's happening in boxing, with boxing is going to be on network TV on so many different platforms, do you think with boxing moving on to these Spike and NBC and Bounce TV and all these different platforms that there will be an opportunity for women to make their way back into American-based fight cards?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, honestly. Like, you know, I understand. Like, I think that the reason why they don't put a lot of women on is because historically women's sports, they just attract a smaller audience than men's sports. And I think that in terms of television, it's all about ratings, and so they want things that will make big ratings. But I think that with MMA, with women's MMA making big ratings and stuff, like, it's only so long that you can really make that argument anymore, you know? And I think that the talent pool is really increasing in women's boxing, and the more that, like, you know, the more years that women compete in the Olympics and the more women that get involved, there'll just be a bigger, like, amount of talent, and I just think it's a matter of time. I don't know how long that'll be. It might be after I'm done boxing, or I don't know, but, like, I still think that, you know, I want to put in the time and effort in order to make that happen someday, you know? So I think it's a matter of time. I think it'll happen.
Yeah,
With
you know, I think some people just need to die first, honestly, because I don't mean that, you know, I'm not wishing death upon anybody, but boxing is like the old boys club. You know, this MMA is like a breed of a younger, you know, demographic. You know, these are fresher faces. You know, the powers of being boxing is just very old and, you know, stuck in their ways.
No, I do agree with you because, you know, I think that it kind of takes a champion. It takes, like, someone to champion the effort. And I feel like the people that are, like, at the highest levels of boxing right now are very comfortable where they are because the money's coming in, right, and all those people that are there, they're all making money, so they don't really care. You know, there's no reason for them to care because they're comfortable in their position, right? But I feel like as soon as you have, like, younger people coming in that need to, like, make their way into, I don't know, into sports, network TV and sports and things, that then you'll start to have people that are pioneering, like, new things, and I think you'll start to have, like, see women on cards and things. I think that, you know, I agree. I think that it's kind of an old boys club that, like, there's not really any reason for them to want to, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, it's not stopping Bob Arum from giving away a ringside seat to Ronda Rousey for, like, what, worth $100,000 or something?
I know, what?
So, yeah, maybe you should walk past Bob, because, honestly, Bob is, I'm not going to say anything about Bob today, but I know he met he met who he met, Anna Houlihan, and he said he called it the prettiest little fighter he ever saw. So, you know, Bob, you know, he sees you know, a good looking female fighter, and I don't know, he does crazy things.
Okay, I'll go meet him.
Melissa, with the increased in popularity of women's MMA, we've seen a lot of fighters. We saw Heather Hardy, I think, just fought the other day. Have you ever considered going over into MMA, or are you staying true to your love, the sweet science?
I have no plans to go to MMA. I've never done any kind of wrestling. I've never done any kind of jiu-jitsu. And I just feel like I don't have the drive for that. Like, I've been boxing now for 10 years, and I'm good at boxing now. I don't have 10 years of training in me to be good at MMA, you know? Like, at this point, if I was going to, like, switch over to MMA, like, I'd be starting over, you know? Like, and I don't do things, halfway. Like, if I do something, like, I want to be good at it, and I put all my effort into it. And I just feel like there's just not enough time. Like, I don't see, like, there's not enough time for me to get good at MMA. I don't want to put that kind of time and effort in anymore. Like, it's just something that I have to start over at, you know? So I'm happy doing boxing. I put in a lot of time and effort into boxing, and I believe in my skills right now. And so, to me, I feel like it just seems I don't want to start over into something else. You know, like there's many other things to life. I think, you know, I'd like to be a mother someday. There's a lot of other things that I would like to do, and starting over in another sport, it just isn't one of them.
Right.
Well, it looks like the Ava Knight has responded to you know, your desire to fight her, and she says, yeah, let's do it. Basically,
all right, perfect.
You know, have your promoter send a contract to her, and she's ready to go.
Okay. Sounds awesome.
Okay. You heard it here. You heard it here.
Let's do it.
Melissa, for those who are listening to the show tonight and they want to keep up with you and follow your career and cheer you on as you continue to defend the flyweight title, how can folks keep up with you and your social media and follow your career?
So I do have a Facebook. I'm trying to get people to go onto my fan page because I have a couple other pages, but they're all at capacity, and it's getting to be really hard to manage. So Mighty Melissa McMorrow, Brazilian American Boxer, is my Facebook fan page. Really like to get everybody on there. And then I have a Twitter. It's at Mighty Melissa M. So definitely follow me on Twitter.
Awesome. I just liked you on Facebook, so I'm going to keep track with you on there, too. And then I think we already follow you on Twitter. Well, it is an absolute pleasure to speak with you this evening. Congratulations on retaining the flyweight title, and I hope we see you in the ring the sooner than later.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Congratulations once again. I think you're the first world champion, former world champion to regain their title in Mexico from a Mexican, like in women's boxing. So it's rare either way. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.